What's up, fellas? It's your boy MDMMA here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the entire UFC White House card. Let's start straight away with the first fight of the night: Diego Lopez versus Steve Garcia. Now, Diego's just coming off an undeserved title shot over Volkanovski, lost in the exact same way that he lost in the first fight. Steve Garcia is on a really impressive win streak, coming off a big knockout over David Onama. He's a finisher. His most impressive win in the UFC so far is a win over Melchizedek Costa, who's just on a tear right now. Is from Jackson Wink, a really good gym. But Lopez, I feel, has fought much higher level of comp. He has a win over Gene Silva. He has a win over Brian Ortega. Some sleeper wins like Pat Sabatini, Sadiq Yusuf. And I just don't think Garcia has the same amount of experience, though he's the older fighter. I'd say Diego Lopez has the edge with this one. I feel that with Diego is kind of like a fighter like Yuri. If you're not the best of the best, he's gonna beat you. Moving on. The next fight of the night: Bo Nickel versus Kyle Dawkins. Of course, we know the thing with Kyle Dawkins. He was in the UFC, lost a few fights. He's back. He's got knockout. He's got a knockout win over Michel Pereira. I think he knocked out someone else in his. He submitted someone in his previous fight. Let's just have a look who it was. Mm, Going through his profile right here. I think it was Gerald. Yeah, it was Gerald Mershat. So he beat Gerald Mershat by Bravo choke. Beat Michel Pereira by KO within 43 seconds. Wow, Michel sucks nowadays. Jesus. Bo Nickel, of course, had a disappointing performance against Rainier Dorado. Kind of got broken in the fight, I would say. But of course, now he's coming off a big KO win with a big KO win over Rodolfo Vieira. And I think Kyle Dawkins will present him with some problems. Bo is seen as a bit of a prospect, but he's 30 years old. So I don't know how much improvement he's gonna be able to make over the course of his career at this point. Doesn't really even go for the takedowns, I would say, in his fights. He kind of just strikes with his weird one punch kind of striking, one punch, one kick. Doesn't really throw anything in combination. I think I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Kyle Dawkins actually has the advantage here. He has a good ground game. He's actually a really experienced fighter too. If you look at his record, he has fights with Gerald, with Michel Pereira. In his previous outing, he has fights with Eric and in his previous stint with the UFC, he has fights with Eric Anders, with Dolidze. Jamie Pickett is a schmuck, but he has a win over Jamie. Of course, he fought Holland in a fight which ended in a weird way. So he has a loss to Brendan Allen, a loss to Phil Hawes is abysmal, but Dustin Stoltzfus is a good. So Kyle Dawkins has a lot more experience than Bo Nickel, and I think that's gonna hold him in really good stead in this fight. And yeah, I think Kyle Dawkins is gonna win. Oh my god, this is a disaster. I think either if they wanted to have Rufy on the card, they should have given Rufy someone better in the division. Uh, and yeah, if Chandler, they should have given him someone worse. I would say someone freaking older because Michael Chandler's probably the worst ranked fighter in the UFC right now. Don't think that anyone. I think Rufy is gonna beat him by a brutal KO. There's no way Chandler wins this fight. It's impossible. He literally, the guy literally goes out of his way to lose fights. He runs towards Justin Gaethje, goes and fucking shows, and yeah, just gets smacked up. Tries to lift up Dustin Poirier, ends up in some weird scramble and gets choked out in a fight he could have won. This guy. I don't know what his coaches are telling him. I don't know. It must be so frustrating to be in his corner. and he kind of did have a sort of a bad loss to Benoit Saint Denis, but he's since bounced back, got a win over a talented fighter like Fiziev, who was doing well in the division himself. So I got Rufi winning this fight via brutal KO. I don't know what the betting odds and stuff like that are here. Betting is illegal in India, actually, online betting. But I don't know what kind of value you're gonna get on Rufi winning this fight via KO. But if you are getting some value on it, I'd say you put money on Mauricio Rufi. Moving up the card, Sean O'Malley versus Eamon Zahabi. I think Sean should be able to win this one. Sean has fought much better competition. Zahabi's old as hell. Slow punches, slow kicks. He's kind of unathletic. He's a really tough guy, though. He's a really, really tough guy, and I can see him maybe presenting some problems to Sean O'Malley, but I don't think it's. I think it's going to be an easy. Sean is going to. I don't think Sean's going to KO him, though. I don't think Sean's going to KO him. I think he's going to be really cautious as he was in his last fight, move around on the outside, pick at him. If Zahabi tries to rush in, maybe he's gonna get a KO, but I don't think so. I think he's just gonna move on the outside, pick at Zahabi, and just win a unanimous decision. So yeah, that's what I think about this fight. Pereira versus Gane. This is the one I have been kind of debating about in my head. Uh, Pereira is a phenom. Gane has lost every title fight he's been in, and yeah, I'm not a fan of this guy. He's actually hasn't lost every title fight he's been in. He's gone three title shots, lost two, beat, poked Tom Aspinall in the eye. The guy's freaking blind now, thanks to this cheating scumbag. And this guy's just getting another shot at an interim title again. It's totally. I don't think this guy deserves it, to be honest. I think the UFC should be penalizing him. And I'm seeing Joe Rogan and freaking Chael Sonnen and Anthony Smith kind of uh, insinuating that Tom Aspinall gave up in this fight, and no one said anything to this guy. This guy who cheats in every fight. He kicked John Jones in the nuts. He poked poor Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall's nearly blind now. I actually want Pereira to knock him out badly. This guy's a cheating scumbag. Can't stand him. So yeah, Pereira by KO is my pick. Pereira by second round TKO. I think Gane's gonna break in this fight. Let's go, Alex. Now for the main event, Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. El Matador versus the highlight. And yeah, I don't know prizes for guessing. I think Topuria is gonna knock him out in the first exchange. That's just how I visualize this fight. Jab, jab. Justin's gonna try and close the distance, and Topuria is just gonna knock him out. Yeah, Topuria has such good understanding of range. He just knows where is he can hit his opponent and where he is safe. And Justin in his last fight showed he was just his last fight just showed that he's a bit reckless, and that kind of recklessness is going to get him in a lot of trouble with Ilya. He might try and use the leg kicks on the outside, kick Topuria on the leg a few times, but yeah, I think it's gonna be no mas. Is just too much of a hill to climb. Topuria is something else, man. I think if it's something that the Max versus Charles fight showed is that Topuria is built different. The way he beat Charles and the way Charles has been looking in his last two fights just shows you Ilya's level. This guy is something else. And yeah, I think I can see him get a pretty comfortable victory in this fight. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, or do you agree with my picks or not? Let me know. Peace.